we've always been a people of a multitude of tribes. And to be quite transparent, those tribes almost, if at any, never really fucked with each other, right? Everybody, every tribe usually did their own thing. And so when you think about it like that, and then you think about why the necessity for Indians versus natives, why the necessity for Aboriginal versus indigenous, why the necessity for FBA versus ADOS, right? I think it comes to a point where the entire narrative was created for a purpose to confuse people. And honestly, they did a really good job as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because Serpent, like you said with the Tower of Babel story, right? The tower's getting so high that God did that to the people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So when you
Like,
think about that, that's basically the higher powers of government.
hmm but yeah, that was the whole entire purpose. It was to confuse the people and not allow them to put all of the information together. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, because at that point, I want to say it was right after the flood, like somewhere before chapter 12 in Genesis. And it, God was like, it's nothing that these people won't be able to accomplish because they speak the same language. And it's just like, let me confuse their language and scatter them out throughout the earth, basically to slow them down. But makes you think of the spell of America, you know what I mean, from the Protestant church and how for them they was on some we want the whole landmass, you know what I mean, whereas um indigenous people weren't greedy like that, you know what I mean, like we got a couple acres, we good, but they was like, no, we want the whole thing. We want the whole thing. And I mean, it's a lot of history left out. It's a lot of things that were left out, for those people to even have the motivation to do what they did. But history written by the winner.
Mm. Even though they're losers, that's crazy.
They can say whatever they want to say. Whatever. And they
So
have been.
I was looking at the chart and I seen that Neptune was conjunct Saturn and Pisces. And the last time that this took place was in 1846, the same year the Smithsonian Institute was founded. And when you think about the Smithsonian Institute, they did a lot of work with the burial mounds and collecting all of the evidence of giants in this land and burying it and things of that nature. So when it comes to us being a part of that mound builder culture, which nobody really wants to talk about because that puts us into a different light, a different energy, a different mythology, so forth and so on. Like this is being silenced. But then as I like scroll on TikTok and Twitter, I see a bunch of people being really into Aboriginal thought and black people were already here. And so when you formulate those thoughts, it creates a subdivision of people that say various things, you know, which makes it seem like it's a war. But to me, it's not a war. It is just people trying to figure out who they actually are outside of the propaganda that they were shipped here on. slave ships. I feel like we crave that and we need that. And so this Saturn conjunct Neptune conjunction opposed Mars in reference to this full moon that's about to take place, I think that we could get, I don't necessarily know if we'll ever get answers, so to speak, but within us, we could get a little closer to what it means to be from this soil, from this land. Maybe it'll be some legislation, I don't know, but or reparations movements, but we need to get the ball rolling on being from this landmass, the nationality part of it. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and I think it's a going back to the roots, not going back to old traditions, but going back to the roots of things. And I would say first and foremost is just getting back into the clock of nature. You know what I mean? Dealing with, the procession of time as it relates to the stars and the moon and the seasons, and get off of this timeline, this Protestant John D. King James timeline. I think that would be the first thing, and to understand that. To me, it's like the past history is important to a certain extent, but I feel like niggas want to go so far back into the past that it's just like you just lost in the sauce, and I think it just stifles growth at a certain point, because it always ends up being just speculation, But like, what can we deal with that? The things that we see more mounds throughout North America than any other continent. We got ancient rivers here, shit like that. You know what I mean? We got ley lines here. I think there's so many things for us to tap in with that we don't have to stress about speculative history.
So when you say like speculative history, what are we specifically speculating on as a collective? Because it's like, do we accept
Slavery.
a mainstream narrative, or do we go beyond the mainstream narrative and then you into pseudo religion now? Because
Mhm.
everything outside of mainstream is pseudo,
Yeah.
according to Wikipedia.
Yeah. I would say the farthest back historically, I would say is information from, like stuff from the Moorish Science Temple, stuff from people like Ivan Van Sertima, where they give you an actual overview of like the world historically. I remember it was a book called The Diplomatic Relations Between the United States and the Barbary Powers. And Barbary is Berber, which is North Africa, and it just tells about it was, I want to say, 1830s, where basically Africans controlled that whole Mediterranean. Couldn't nobody else trade there. The Greeks couldn't trade there. The Italians couldn't trade. Definitely the British couldn't trade. You know what I mean? They like to talk about how they were this great navy. At a point in time, they couldn't leave that island. That was like Rikers for those people at a point in time in history. And that's what I mean by like what history is valuable. Just getting a good understanding of what happened before this. You know what I mean? What happened before slavery, and it'll give you an idea. But just speculating on like the remains of Harriet Tubman and just what I want to say. I want to say like Hollywood black body ministry porn, that kind of stuff. Like the shit that's just gonna make you sad. You know what I mean? The shit that's not going to give you any type of information other than make you feel like a victim.
Mhm.
Because I think when you led by spirit, it'll take you to where you need to be. Because I think so much history that we have, for one, is built around United States legislation. You know, if you want to study the history of Black people, you're gonna end up studying law from, you know, the 1400s up until today.
Mhm.
And I think it's, for us, it's a new beginning that we never stepped into. I think we just never stepped into it. It's too much of the victimhood, the villainhood, and the wanting to get whitey back. Even to this day, you know, my parents were born in the 60s, you know, and they still feel away. You get what I'm saying? I'm not
Mhm.
saying that the certain shit didn't happen, you know what I mean, in the 50s and stuff like that. But they put themselves in front of the United States government put themselves in front of Black people so much, fucked with them so much, that at this point we see them as an opponent. You know what I mean? We see them as something to overcome. Whereas I don't look at them like that. You know, I can think of a reality where we don't need them. You know what I mean? Not that we got to get rid of them. You know what I mean? We just don't need them. But you know, we are scattered people.
Mhm.
We're scattered people, and it's only God gonna take us through this. You know what I mean? Only the divine ancestors is going to take us through this. But to answer your question, I think just that redundant slavery rhetoric, you know, is invaluable or is not valuable.
I would take
Sex is
what
bad.
I would take from what you're saying is that then the beginning of said education needs to start with the origination of this place, right? It has to start with what was here before anything else was. When people started to come here, started to make records, started to make notches, started to write policy, started to create organized civilizations. When there were already organized civilizations here, I think we have to start with the organized civilizations that were here. See, the part that fools a lot of us is that from birth to adulthood, you're told that you're not from here. From birth to adulthood, you are told that you are from a stolen people. From birth to adulthood, you are told that you are less than, you are limited, you are animalistic, and all of the different stereotypes and narratives that go with the melanated being. And so when you get to adulthood and when you get to a place like the majority of melanated people are now, where now you have to question what it is that you think you already know because there's too much tangible evidence to point in an opposite direction. When you get to that point, I think it's necessary for you to acknowledge said point and then for you to go back and fully put your stuff up to a magnifying glass and at least first acknowledge that you probably don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The people that you listen to and you followed up until this point probably don't know what the fuck they talking about. And it is actually in the best interest of the people running said nation that we don't know what's actually being talked about. And so if we can start there, then we understand that we have no friends, we have no allies, we have no confidants, right? It is spirit, discernment, and that's it. That's really it, right? When we get to that point, that's the point where I feel like the combinations of people, the different delegations of people, they have a responsibility to come together and at least cooperate with the understanding or gaining said understanding about what this actually is.
I
Um,
agree. It's gonna take spirit. That's being led by spirit. You know what I mean? Really getting aligned with spirit and letting spirit guide us. Because we're not gonna fight our way out of this shit. We're not gonna shoot our way out of this shit.
real quick. So I think that we at a disadvantage in so many different areas, in so many ways, because it's certain realities, right? This is West Virginia Penitentiary. This building was built in 1866, right after the Civil War, right? It's built like a castle, and it's many buildings like this. The 1858 state prison in Joliet. You talking about the 1800s, right? And they don't make buildings like this no more. They don't know how to make buildings like this no more. Like world class in America,
World
meaning
class
like
architects can't emulate that shit right now.
right now it's over. And so in 1863, West Virginia seceded from Virginia at the height of the American Civil War, right? And then they're just like gonna build a building. Their first go around, they're not gonna start with like some rudimentary bricks. You feel me? Like they're gonna go for the gusto, and
Yeah,
then
they went straight to the castle. They ain't start with a shack. They ain't start with like they went straight to a castle.
yeah. Only reason I know about this place because right across the street is some mounds. It's called Grave Creek Mound, and it's very
Isn't it built
interesting.
on top of a mound too?
The whole shit is just a mound, a mound park or whatever it is. It's amazing. But I'm saying all of this to say those Native Americans wasn't the same Americans of those mounds. And when we are discussing languages such as Algonquin speaking languages, you have a more propensity to have a darker skinned tribesman be a part of those tribes versus the plain Indians who, like, we about to watch a video where it's ingrained in people's mind to think that Indians looked one way. That's a issue, bro. Because in like y'all said, it's many different tribes of Indians. You can't say throughout all of these tribes was a consistency in phenotype and ethnic traits and features.
Yeah, that would just be stupid.
So to illustrate my point, I want y'all to use common sense. It's going to be a very quick video. And I just want to like create a narrative based upon the fact that it's no way that 4,000 slaves turned Oklahoma into 50 lead black freedmen towns. But this is from Oprah Winfrey's network. So it's to understand the story of Black Wall Street and the Trail of Tears. Because the tribes that was a part of the Trail of Tears were the Crees, the Muskogees, the Seminoles. These were black tribes, okay? The Cherokees. Sure, your grandma said that y'all was part Cherokee at one point in time. All of this to say, when they talk about the Trail of Tears, and then they go, which they landed in Oklahoma, then the next story of Oklahoma is, oh shit, Black Wall Street, generational wealth. Let's tear that shit down. It's not about Native Americans. It's about who we truly are. So I'm going to point one key distinction out in this video, and I want y'all to use y'all common sense because we all know Oprah is with them people. So of course the narrative is going to be as such. So
The Greenwood District was one of the most prominent and affluent Black communities in the country. It was a symbol of what is possible for Black people in America. But to understand the story of Black Wall Street, we have to go back to the Trail of Tears.
First Black people to come to Oklahoma were actually members of the Native American tribes.
The 5 tribes, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole, were slaveholding tribes. Some of them wanted to show that they were in allyship by mimicking what the white settlers are doing.
Indigenous people were affected by anti-Black racism. That process invited them into the slaveholder culture, even as they were subject to the worst forms of oppression and discrimination of themselves.
When the 5 tribes signed a removal treaty, they had to remove their Black slaves too.
The Indian Removal Act of 1830 forcibly evicts Native American tribes in the Southeast and transfers their lands to white farmers to expand cotton plantations. Over 100,000 Native Americans and approximately 4,000 enslaved African Americans make the treacherous journey to Indian Territory, now known as Oklahoma. The over 5,000-mile brutal and deadly removal is known as the Trail of Tears and Death.
When everybody got to Oklahoma through many different ways, Black people were still enslaved here. They still were property, and they had to rebuild what the Indian tribes had in the Deep South.
pay attention.
After the Civil War, you had freedmen living in Oklahoma.
Did you hear that? You gotta listen.
After the Civil War. So
Yeah, go ahead though.
but wouldn't that imply before the Civil War there were free people? Like how you get what I'm saying? Like how is it that a war happened and then all of a sudden you got some Black people that got their shit together and you get what I'm saying?
That don't make sense.
Yeah. And then they gonna say the Native Americans had slaves. Come on, bro.
That don't make sense.
And they
Because
got motivation from the white settler.
I can show you documentation where in Florida, Black Seminoles would play that game. What y'all doing? Because the people not even thinking it in a oh, I'm their slave. But then the spies would be like, damn, it seemed like the Blacks are the masters and the other Indians are the subordinates. Are they tricking us? These is my slaves. This is my property. Nah, this is my mama and my daddy. Y'all wouldn't y'all do the same thing in a system?
Yeah, like if everybody is dying every time we travel, absolutely, my nigga. Like one of us gonna play the freed man, the other niggas is gonna be the fake slaves.
Y'all never smuggled. Never mind. I'm leave it alone.
Y'all
Y'all ain't never had to throw on a tie when you on that roll. Oh, see, that's just me. Because you got to play a role. I'm not doing no business because I have on a suit and I'm in a rental car and I'm driving through Texas. That's a facade. I'm not a businessman. I got a trunk full of compressed marijuana.
Compressed marijuana.
Compressed Reggie doodoo, but I'm trying to make it to Ohio real bad.
I got some of that backyard boogie in the back.
Listen, you gotta trick the federales, and that's what all they was doing. But once again, they can't differentiate a tribesman with a slave and what a tribesman have within his understanding of the world, his talent, his skills and abilities. To look at Black people, label them as slaves, and look at lighter complected people and label them as Native Americans got to be the most dumbest, uneducated shit I'm not Oprah Winfrey Network. You feel me? I'm not a producer or nothing, but come on, my common sense tells me this verbiage is at best concerning to me.
As it should be to everyone who's ever seen this. Like, if anybody that's telling this story and the story is told in this manner, absolutely. Like, if your fucking spidey senses don't go off during this story, then yeah, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Because we are talking about the Trail of Tears and Black Wall Street. So I'm telling y'all, and I could be speculating, we went from Native American tribes to Black people, and that is the purpose of the Trail of Tears, to move you out of jurisdiction and then reclassify you.
Yeah, with the wool being pulled over your eyes being the difference between you being sovereign anymore and sovereign no more.
Facts. Because once you Black, you ever had an Indian friend? An Indian friend get checks every month.
On time. No questions asked.
I had two beautiful Indian chick. They was twins, beautiful, rolling up the best weed, nice car. I'm in the back seat, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they was like pass arounds, but everybody knew they Indians. They get a check every month. That's why they got their nice car. That's why they always fresh. That's why they down in the hood with it. But at the end of the day, because you Black, you don't get a check. You don't be able to build a casino because you are Black. Because when we talking about this shit, right? Niggas gonna circle around this shit and be like, oh, we need to stop fighting. But yet and still, they are cutting checks every month.
Every month. You would not have to complain about your dirty ass baby daddy not coming through this week. Like it literally is like these niggas is raking in the dough, and we sit back and argue over pennies type shit.
Isn't the misnomer Black like de facto citizenship? Like, yeah, you get a social security number, but you really have no standing in
the
law.
Distinction. Yeah, the distinction of Black, when you describe and fall under that distinction of Black, you are 3/4 of a human being. You are no longer a part of the sovereign state. You are subject to Christian codes. Like, that's it. You're subject to their religious codes. When you call yourself Black, when you check that black box on that fucking application, you are subject to 3/4 of a man, 3/4 of a human being. That's what you're subject to. Every time you call yourself Black, you disqualify yourself, essentially.
And niggas, I'm telling you, all of this Africa shit, everything that you think it is in reference to, if we're gonna get down to the bare bones of mound builders, Algonquin languages. Your parent, you being from Michigan, you being from Ohio, you being from New York, you being from Illinois, Chicago. Once again, unless, like, it could be a granddaddy and a grandma, you better know that your grandma and your granddad migrated here from, they say they migrated here from Alabama, right? They're going to tell you that, right? They're going to tell you that shit, right? Mm-hmm. Why did they come to Ohio in the first place? Why couldn't they be coming home from what? The Civil War, right? Where they was sit there from where? Home, right? They was kidnapped. Y'all never heard of the Underground or the reverse Underground Railroad?
Yeah, I heard of it. I heard of that.
Where they kidnapped people from the north and took them to the south.
You know, so it's interesting, in the book of 2 Kings, there was a lot going on in the Bible where, you know, it was like Game of Thrones, you know what I mean? Jumping in windows, stabbing motherfuckers in the stomach. It got real crazy in 2 Kings. But a lot of stuff happened where they went into different states, for lack of better words. Like when the king was like, "This is about to be my shit," they got a bunch of people, took them back to like, you know, I'm gonna just use words that we know. So say like I'm the king of Ohio, and I'm like, man, I'm about to take Wisconsin, I'm about to take Michigan. So I'll take a bunch of Ohioans with me, right? And dump them into Wisconsin and Michigan, and then take all the people in Wisconsin and Michigan, mix them up, and then take a bunch of them back to Ohio. And it's just like you just scatter the people. You know what I mean? You put them in places, you separate them from family and stuff like that. And it's literally like you don't know where you at, you don't know where your family at. And I also remember hearing like people from like the northwest of the United States or northeast of the United States being switched around with people from like Cuba and shit like that.
Yeah, it also that connects with the misnomer or the misdirection of slaves coming from Africa as opposed to coming from the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
In the King's Philip War, the purpose of that war, they took the Indians and sent them to the Caribbean. So you never going to tell me a point in time where the origin is not America, right? You're never not gonna unless you're talking about Christopher Columbus,
Mm-hmm.
him, but he didn't even come to the main. He never even touched the mainland, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all points of slavery comes from, yes, us, but we didn't come from Africa. It was intercontinental slavery
Mm-hmm.
along the Mississippi and Ohio and where you at, Susquehanna.
The Susquehanna, yeah.
These are big ass rivers that what can hold ships.
Mm-hmm. And can transport a lot of people at one time.
At one time, very easy, not 3 months. Have you ever seen the Atlantic Ocean tidal wave?
Yeah. You imagine putting 1 million people on 1,000 people on a ship and thinking they all gonna survive across that shit.
Dog, you would have had to motherfucking force me to be on them damn boats in the 1700s. I'm not ever doing that shit, bro. That shit is retarded, bro.
Ever.
You know you're gonna have to deal with a fucking sea storm, nigga. You really,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you really acting like niggas was just doing that all the time? Nah.
And if we base it off the picture we saw from old boy who was talking about the boat, like that makes it virtually impossible. How y'all gonna have bags and people on the boat? That just don't work for me.
So once again, we are dealing with the narrative as opposed to a fact that Aboriginal people have existed throughout the whole world, and the majority of them have been dark skinned.
Mm-hmm.
So it isn't that all dark skinned people are from Africa or shipped to other places by white people who only came out the cave in 1480 something. Out the cave. You know?
Learn how to talk. Just learn how to talk. Like these niggas just started putting sentences together. Yeah, they just started putting sentences. Yeah.
A third of all Europeans, because of rats and living in filth, right? They're just getting out of it. And what angel had to come fuck with John D, give him the Enochian magic? So what? He can defeat the Moors or the Spanish Armada. Mm-hmm. When they say Spanish, gotta understand they're talking about black people. Because the concept of race don't even start until around the 1700s. It start going in the 1700s when they have to figure out a way to strip the Moor from his birthright and from his land. So therefore, we're white and we're black. I thought you was Polish. I thought you were from Scotland. No, we're just going to be white. What about them? They're black. Just keep it going. Negro, color, and just keep it going. Because once again, we about to get all of this land, my nigga. Our family is going to be straight. A white boy telling another white boy in 2025, our daughters is going to be walking around this bitch like they own this bitch because of the sacrifices that we making today. All you have to do is call them property or call them by a title other than who they truly are. That's the one thing that we got to make sure of.
Y'all remember the what's that movie that Martin Lawrence was in?
Black Knight.
Yup.
We kept calling them a Moor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's finish this real quick. It'll be over in a second.
When everybody got to Oklahoma through many different ways, black people were still enslaved here. They still were property. And they had to rebuild what the Indian tribes had in the Deep South.
After the Civil War, you had freedmen living in Oklahoma.
You have a freed black population able to live on tribal lands in a communal way.
The Dawes Act passed in 1887, allowing the federal government to break up tribal lands into individual plots.
Black people in Oklahoma owned more land than any other part of the country. About 2 million acres of land were allotted to the freedmen. So when you think about 40 acres and a mule and that false promise after the Civil War, black people actually got that in Oklahoma.
Those land allotments become the seeds of more than 50 black towns that emerged in Oklahoma. More than any other state in the country.
Once the 5 tribes received their allotment, then whatever was left, that was deemed surplus, and the government opened it for sale to whoever wanted to buy it.
O.W. Gurley was a Southerner who hailed from Arkansas, who came to Tulsa to purchase land. The land that Greenwood exists on was not land that whites at the time deemed as valuable, but it's land that could be sold to quote-unquote a Negro buyer. Gurley purchases an allotment of land. His goal was to incubate a black community.
O.W. Gurley opened a grocery store on what would become Greenwood Avenue. He was really able to tap into a lot of dynamics happening throughout the state where people would be traveling to these different communities, and some of the freedmen ended up settling in Greenwood. They were able to provide some of that nurturing wealth.
Land for recently enslaved people is everything, because we have to imagine a world in which an enslaved person did not have property rights in themselves.
So yeah, man, that was Oprah Winfrey trying to keep it real. This is just from the National Endowment from the Humanities. It says that an eyewitness description of the Creeks, which confirms an early black presence, quite oriental in appearance, a sprinkling of trappers, hunters, half-breeds, Creoles, and Negroes of every hue. Black families, enslaved and free, were among the Locapa Creeks, who are forced from Alabama during the Trail of Tears. So we're not doing a very scientific job of differentiating the Aboriginal tribal people with the actual quote unquote African slaves, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. The distinctions matter. And unfortunately, we find ourselves in this place where it's like a hodgepodge of everybody that sort of kind of looks like each other, but they're not the same.
You know what? Talking about Tariq Nasheed, what's your views on Tariq Nasheed? Because he's got this thing called Foundational Black American.
Yeah.
What is that about? Because I feel like that's pure division, if I'm not going to.
It is. But I get it. I don't agree.
Go through this. You want to play it like minute by minute or play the whole thing? 4 minutes. I couldn't hear you, big bro.
Yeah, let's do minute by minute.
All right.
You know what? Talking about Tariq Nasheed, what's your views on Tariq Nasheed? Because he's got this thing called Foundational Black American.
Yeah.
What is that about? Because I feel like that's pure division. If I'm not gonna,
It is. But I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. This is what it is. There were too many black people from outside Africa, from outside America, going to America and playing the ass. And what it is African Americans spotted this and spotted that there's a consistent pattern. Black Caribbeans, black people from Africa going to America and being the ass. And what the FBA agenda is putting up a wall and saying, no, you guys can't be a part of this if you're going to be on that, raccoon train.
When you say playing the ass, what? Because from what I know, a lot of Africans, a lot of Caribbeans who go.
So this is Robin Turner, and he's discussing the fact of the creation of FBA. His host says that is division, and Robin Turner is explaining like he understands it because Africans and Caribbeans, for lack of better words, look down on African Americans because we don't have shit, basically.
Yeah, I think it's a cross between us not having shit and us not knowing what we think we know type shit. Either way, there is a smug sort of cocky attitude that those foreigners have versus the actual natives of this land.
Yeah, and then I feel like it's like the thing to do. You know what I mean? Come to America, you exploit niggas. You know what I mean? You get some type of subsidized housing or check from the government, and you on your merry way in the land of milk and honey. You get what I'm saying? And for somebody to be like, but it's separation. Yeah, it's fucking separation. We need to have a fucking delineation from everybody. You get what I'm saying? Because last time I checked, nobody had indigenous Americans best interests at heart. Nobody. And for me, I just don't like seeing black people protest for other people. I just don't. Because we ain't never got shit from nobody to this day. And if you really want to address the problem of like global exploitation and just straight up classism, racism, all of that shit, you have to address what happened to the indigenous Americans, people that are called black here, because we the baseline for it, you know what I mean? Like up and down, and until I see the people, the cultures of the world come together and say, nah, we need to fix what happened, or at least help these people. Like I really don't have no words of encouragement for other people. You know what I mean? I don't really care about what kind of struggles other people got. You know what I mean? Because shit, I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna do, take from my little resources that I scrapped together, you know what I mean? The little shit that I put together and didn't get passed down. You know what I mean? Like,
and you brought that home for me. I swear to God. Like, think about how many.
We supposed to be like Wakanda, bro. We just out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Think about how many things we emotionally invest ourselves in that have absolutely nothing to do with us as a collective. Think about all of the shit that we decide to put ourselves behind. Like we adopt their fucking shit. Like our women adopted feminism like as if it was their own, right? We adopted this concept of Republican versus Democrat as if it was our own, right? We adopted this idea that we need to approach things from a more egalitarian concept or aspect because everybody deserves to have, right? Even though the powers that be spoon feed up as opposed to spoon feeding down so the rest of us could get some. You know what I mean? Like we've adopted all of their mantras and haven't developed enough of our own.
You know, Breeze, when you had brought up Wakanda, a lot of people felt like Wakanda was a diss because they basically saying this is what we could have been.
Mm.
And plus, you know,
Yeah,
Wakanda
man.
also goes into American land, or it's not really
Mm-hmm.
Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it goes in if you look into Wakanda water. I'm just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny how they portray them as Nigerian, you know, whereas, you know, panthers and jaguars are indigenous to America. Hell, the movie was shot in America.
The first scene was in San Francisco or Oakland, where
Yeah, it was Oakland, yeah.
So
I think
yeah, I mean,
the battle scenes. I think the battle scenes for them to transfer the Panther mantle. I think those were done in the Grand Canyon, if I'm not mistaken.
what none of that movie shot in Africa.
None of it.
So I mean, it's got to be a mind control propagandist type of deal. But somebody in the chat, real quick, 2 quick examples. Tatuba is the Black Witch of Salem, but they call her a Native American. You figure that. And then the founding of Detroit, there was a woman that was a sorceress, a woman of unusual height, a dark, swarthy complexion, right? And this was the story of the founding of Detroit. And I'm just saying, like, they're having like documented stories of Black women that are witches. Get into Eve's Bayou, like watch that opening scene, that opening monologue where they equate, it's very subtle, right in your face, but they're equating slaves to witches. Okay. This is what the get down is. So when like you spiritual, let's talk about meditation. Yeah, nigga, you goofy because it. This is a part of
You goofy for real.
reality. This is what draw me into the panics and the Hemets. They was able to connect
Mhm.
real life history to the knowledge, to the
Yes.
practice.
Yes. Thanks to them, I
Gotta wake up
understood the
to
difference. No, I was just going to say,
facts.
thanks to them, I understood the difference in how you're supposed to incorporate mythology into your everyday. Like, that's exactly how the stories were told from the past to the present. Mythology goes in with that, but then you also got metaphysics and, but I digress.
You saying that
Mhm.
sort of made me think about Joseph Campbell's book, the Mythos or the Hero.
Yeah, Hero with 1,000 Faces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It also made me think about the whole concept of history. Because it's like history is kind of like this contemporary mythology. There's a lot of shit you can't prove it, you know what I mean? It's just kind of everybody get behind it. And this shit's been around for so long that you don't need a reference for it.
But that's where the whitewash came from. And we have to like really look through that. Or the better word for it is I think I'm gonna say, or I'm gonna butcher it, but found constructional race, critical race theory, some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the nicer way of saying whitewash.
Yeah. Like I never use the distinction blackballed. I call everything whiteballed. So
Go there. Academically, they're surpassing them, and also business-wise, they're surpassing them. So who was playing at us?
When they then use that to say, well, that means that you African Americans are lazy. Do you see?
Yes.
And then being on some right-wing conservatism, let's throw African Americans under the bus.
That is true.
Let's pretend that Jim Crow didn't happen. Redlining didn't happen. Breaking up of African American business
Families.
districts. Breaking up of African American families. The COINTELPRO didn't happen. The Iran Contras and then moving drugs into the black community didn't happen. Yeah, and there's a whole.
So once again, you're gonna have to ask yourself why. And niggas will still be riding around in a city in a Jaguar. You know what I'm saying? Niggas will still be family men. And all of this shit be actually happening in real time. And it's like, shit, not to be a victim or anything, but I'm just, all of these actual things is really happened in reference to black men and women, and why? Not even to be a victim. Just why do you think all of these things have happened from slavery on down up until now?
If I'm a thinking man, and I know I'm a thinking man, right? It's my gift and my fucking curse, right? And I start from reason, right? Reason and logic, right? My reasoning tells me that at every orifice, at every fucking place available, at every fucking stop and start, there has been something created to knock down the melanated man. Period. Like everywhere you go, there's something to thwart you off of what it is that you are versus what it is that you are doing. So again, thinking, logic, reasoning, that tells me that the powers that be are so afraid of these people finding out a particular thing. We don't know what that thing is. Right? Anything right now when we talking about that thing is speculation.
Hypothetical.
Right? It's hypothetical. But
assumptions.
Assumptions. But if I try everything I can possibly get to stop you from going a particular place or doing a particular thing, that must mean that I am afraid of something. Like if I just deduce it and just make it an educated guess or an educated inference, like you have to be afraid of something because y'all done changed the fucking story so many fucking times. And it can only be one story. Like this is the problem that I have with everybody that talks, right? It can only be one fucking story, but all of you motherfuckers claim to have the fucking answer.
Remember when you was little and your parents told you stop telling all them stories? Motherfuckers just telling stories, bro. It's so many stories that it just convolute the truth.
And then you
Let alone
lump us
it's a game
all
of
in.
telephone. What you
And
say?
then- I said, then you just lump us all in, like fuck it. Just
Yeah.
And that's the two words I got from this shit. Convoluted and disingenuous. like it's not even a matter of honesty when it comes to any of this stuff, because almost everybody, when they speak about it, they have ulterior motives in mind when they talk. And you can tell. Like if you're paying attention, you can tell. Somebody wants you to buy something, somebody wants you to watch something type shit.
oh my bad.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That's true.
The COINTELPRO. Yeah, and there's a whole list of things continuing right up until now that the American government has done to African Americans. And so for those black people recently arrived from outside America, you all didn't face any of that. So of course you're going to be doing better than African Americans. Duh.
Yeah.
But what's happening is a lot of the people outside Black America don't respect that. And so while I'm not about division, I can't pretend to not know why Tariq Nasheed said that.
Yeah.
I can't pretend not to know why some other people are running with ADOS.
What's that one?
ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves.
Okay.
They're on the same agenda as FBA, trust me.
But they're separate.
Well, one is run by Tariq, one is run by somebody else. I think there's somebody else is Yvette Carnell, something like that.
Then you got the Black Hebrew Israelites, and you got the ones who say they're Native Americans and they were there before. Sometimes I just feel it's like there's too many categories and too many.
See, my thing is when you get to that particular point, then you start expanding into, oh, see, now we're getting too far. Y'all was already here. Like, y'all had an identity before. Y'all don't go with the mainstream media. It's just like, as soon as you mention that, it just makes niggas twinge a little bit.
They like, you not about to give me the red pill. Stop.
Let's rephrase that.
Get that damn red pill out of here. Yeah, I think that's interesting too, though, because it's kind of like, well, niggas don't say what they want. What? You're not descendants of slaves? Yes, you are.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right. Like that was the only thing you could have been doing. And what type of mind control is that, right? And it's like, damn, because I went to, like, I'll be at the cemetery a lot, and I'll be looking at like certain plots that have like a whole family, like one big like tombstone, and then like it'll be a mom, dad, and then all of the kids, right? And I'm thinking like, damn, what would I had to do to be a part of something like that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so foreign to me, because it's like when you get old, you don't realize it till you get old. Like, damn, you really need family out here. Fuck everything else.
Yeah.
And all the shit we talk about is cool. But the thing that was going to make it to whereas you was going to make it or break in life is having a support system to say, all right, shit, I don't want to work for a couple of years. I'm going to go at my mom and dad's house, which is a big ass house, and go in their basement and build my business up or whatever. Niggas got to figure it out from the moment they turn 16, right? And it's like, shit, Africans, everybody across the board, I feel like, for me, and maybe it's just my bias, because I even know there's some strong Aboriginal families out there, but it just seemed like we lost in that aspect in the diaspora in this particular continent. There's no strong familial bonds.
Absolutely. But that also goes back to what seems like the theme for this week, self-hate, right? Like, I remember having that conversation with people when I had to correct them about the whole Africa thing, right? And I remember their faces like being offended that I'm telling them that I'm not from Africa type shit, right? Like, think about that. A European being offended when you tell them you're not from Africa. And that just made me want to do it more, because every time I had the conversation, it was more people trying to bring up more shit to knock me off of my shit. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not gonna work, bro. Like, nah, that ain't true. Like, yeah, that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it is a matter of recognition, because when you look at it, everybody has had a head start over us. Everybody, right? So again, what is it about us? Like, what is that schism, right? Where you got, on one side, you got the majority of my people desensitized so much to the point that they don't even point out the irregularities when they see them no more, right? And then on this side, You really got niggas puffing their chests out like, yeah, that's why y'all going through what y'all going through type shit. It's weird.
It is, man. And, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, wasn't Myron and Tariq Sheet arguing about this one point in time too?
They was in a beef.
Okay, because I thought they were arguing about this particularly, like having a whole debate about it.
They were arguing, but Myron was arguing just about the idea of lazy blacks, while Tariq wanted to justify that he was from the Sudan.
Yeah, I remember he said, "Baby, I better start doing Uber." Oh, yeah, this shit get wicked, man.
Groups to like really know what is really going on.
There is, and my job is very, very much to bring clarity. I am the Black History Man. My job is to bring clarity, and I do believe there is a position that all of us can agree upon, and that's the vision of history that I've been working on since I've been writing. And it could put the FBAs, the ADOS, Black people from outside America, Black people in Africa. I've just spent 2.5 weeks in Ethiopia. Put all of us on the same side, with pretty much the same vision of history, with pretty much the same pride in our history, and it can be done. It's not a hard thing to do. But I do understand and respect the differences, because I can see why a person from one country doesn't see it the same way as a person from another country.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, that's some bullshit. You're not about to tell me that I'm about to go to Europe and tell Sicilians that they Irish. Fuck out of here. What the fuck? See, that's that bullshit. Like, you gonna create something for niggas that wouldn't work with other people. Try to tell a Russian, nah, you really German, my nigga. You know what I mean? Or,
hey, but that's how I be to my homies. I'm like, bro, you're not no African, bro. Like, why you?
What is it about niggas that get offended when you tell them you not what they say you are? Like, what is it about people that think they have the right to tell you who the fuck you are? Like,
I'm like, you went to Africa, bro?
I guess other people,
what family member out there, gang?
I guess other non-Black people watch slave movies too. You're like, dang, they really dealt with that, man. That's how they walking around thinking you saw in the North.
You Nat Turner, whatever stereotype is put out there.
Yeah, when niggas be bringing that up, bro. Yeah, that Nat Turner shit was hard, gang.
What was he talking about, man? Pan-Africanism?
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. He was talking about
what he's referring to.
He was talking about how, once again, as long as Black people and we have resisted it for so long, but it's a deeper resistance of it through the labeling us of descendants of slaves and Black or whatever the case may be, when the reality is our ancestry and our entitlements run so deep. So just to lump us in with something is not going to get us no bread. It might be a good story. He might sell a book or two.
Right.
But when it comes down to us and correctly nationalizing ourselves and unifying, even if it take the next 1,000 years, I don't know. It's about wealth and land and the rightful owners and getting the custodials out the land, because this goes back into Washington, D.C. being a foreign entity within this particular country. Right? A 10 by 10 square area where government and is not even a part of the country within itself. Like it's a complete sovereign area. Why is that? Because that's a representation of the Vatican. That's a representation of London, the real creators and the real movers and shakers on this globalist planetary scheme. That in this particular country, that 10 by 10 square foot area is effectively ruling over what they feel like is they own. And they're going to put certain people in certain places and positions that's going to perpetuate the status quo. And anything outside of the status quo is going to be a problem. It's going to be an issue. And now with this Black Americans versus Black Africans, what we're going to start to realize is that we don't even know racism to be from only white people. If you don't get it now, what you need to understand is racism. It'll be nigga that look just like you, being racist as hell, meaning that he's not giving you no information. He's not helping you do anything. He despises you, don't like you because of some, I don't know. Because when you talk about family, right? What is we talking about? Information. If it's something that I need or something that I know, I could give it to you. When was the last time a motherfucker pulled you to the side and told you anything? This is 2025. Is it just me? Or is niggas just pulling y'all to the side, giving y'all keys and codes to the kingdom?
Barely.
I ain't never got a key or code.
Man, I got a motherfucking wave and to walk past.
Niggas say, hey, how you doing, nigger? Basically.
Yeah, I walk past. If y'all count that.
And I'm so happy you said that, big bro, because I'm talking on the phone. I'm just really ecstatic that you said that, because remember what was the narrative for like the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 years or so, right? That Black people can't be racist. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
When I say you shitting me, you see the way an African treats a melanated being, a melanated Aboriginal, like when you see the way they treat us, shitting me if a Black person can't be racist. Shitting me.
And I mean, like it started, I feel like earlier this summer with the Essence Fest. And there was just this big whoop-de-doo. Whereas the people that went was disappointed for various reasons. But one of the main reasons was there was a heavy African presence, which their justification behind this is that the owner of Essence is an African, which is like, if I'm a baseball team and I buy a baseball team and it's the fucking Blue Jays, do that mean I could just change it to whatever the fuck I want to change it to because I'm the owner? In theory, yes, but ain't you niggas got Blue Jays memorabilia from the 1970s? Now you just gonna change it out the blue? Like, so what I'm saying is, like, because the African owns Essence, now Essence is an African magazine, I'm imagining. And disregarding the 50 years that, you know, Aboriginal, Indigenous Blacks have poured into the cultivation of Essence, Jet, all these particular publications that, you know, I don't know. They sold it to Africans, and now, like Ra was saying, is racist, is a form of racism. They're utilizing power and prejudice to like impose their will on a particular conversation or outlook on a theme. And so naturally, Black people is like feeling a certain type of way about that. My question is it cool for Africans to change it to how they wanted to change it? Or should it be rooted in American ideologies and stick there.
I think the reality of America and the truth of this, the predicament that we're in, is us believing a lie, not knowing our history, not having an understanding of our identity. This shit just a free for all, and that's the only reason why people come over here. You know what I mean? Like the whole concept of multiculturalism. You know what I mean? What all the things that are multicultural were exclusively for Black people, the misnomer Black people. You know what I mean? Negro, colored, Black, whatever you want to call these people. All that shit was for them, you know. But over time, it was just like, okay, we're gonna bring in people from Kenya. We're gonna bring in people from, you know, Grenada. We're gonna bring in people from, you know, Ireland. All these other people came in, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna make it multicultural. You know what I mean? It's a street. Well, MLK in Cleveland, and it cuts through the east side of Cleveland. And for people that don't know, the east side of Cleveland is the Black side of Cleveland. And Martin Luther King Boulevard is also called Rockefeller Cultural Garden. And as you ride down this street, headed towards Lake Erie, all you see is flags from different cultures. Swedish flag, Croatian flag, Armenian flag, you know what I mean? And they haven't even finished, to this day, they haven't even finished the African American area. They got the Pan-African flag there, you know what I mean? And it's not even finished, you know what I mean? Mind you, I'm 33, that shit's been there my whole life. But like circling it back to what I'm saying is, it's our lack of identity and, you know, the multiculturalism, you know, that displaces everything that was put into place for us. And I think anybody that is, you know, from another country that comes here, they come here specifically knowing that they're going to get here ahead of somebody. You get what I'm saying? Like, I know I won't be at the bottom of the totem pole coming to America, you know what I mean? Because that's the role that the niggas play there. You know what I mean? I know I can come over here and get me a gas station real quick. You know what I mean? I know I could come over here and sell hair and nails to these people. You get what I'm saying? I know I could come here, you know, and sell, you know, whatever it is, whatever good it is, foods, yeah, like fish, produce, whatever it is. I know that I could come here and be supported by the American government. You know what I mean? And then these people are gonna be my clientele. That's all it is. You know what I mean? I think Africans in Africa think more highly of us than motherfuckers that are here. You get what I'm saying? Because if you here, you not. Nah. I mean, you like LeBron James, you like Megan Thee Stallion, but you don't like your average. You know what I mean? You don't like your average Black person working a 9 to 5, you know, with student loan debt and stuff like that. They don't give a fuck. Like this shit ain't even. It's not complicated, you know. But until we can come together, besides all this weird shit that these people is trying to put together, you know what I mean, ain't shit gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, and it's probably not gonna be in my grandkids' lifetime. You get what I'm saying? Like, but it gotta be motherfuckers really wanting to make a sacrifice. You know what I mean? And wherever state you from, your family from, don't leave. Flourish there. Make a plan for your great grandkid to be the governor of the state. You know what I mean? Like,
can I add a subtitle to this live?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add a subtitle to this live. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, damn it. Fuck, man.
But what James Evans said, he said, with his pigmentation, you can't give him no consideration or something like that.
I mean,
or his with his
Oh, you got the
occupation,
complexion. You got the complexion for the protection.
something in those lines, man. But it was a scene on Good Times where it was a black cop. He said, with his occupation and pigmentation, you can't give him no consideration. Basically, like that nigga don't care about me.
yeah, I like what you said, Breeze, and just to build off of it, if the families lock in with each other, realize and accept they've been colonized and move forward, they can really make a change. Because it's like when we think about all these other races or cultures, Mexicans, whoever you want to think about, you know, it's gonna be 5 people in the house. We all trapping off this one Ford. We gonna buy another one. We all putting the money together. This Brittany Ford. We using Brittany Ford to get to here. Then once Brittany Ford done, we're gonna get Jackson the Ford. Now we all like everybody in unity, you know. All right, you ready to move? Well, we're gonna get a duplex. So one of y'all can live on the other side, and y'all can be here and y'all can live together, help each other out. You know, sooner or later we're gonna buy this duplex. Like, we gotta start thinking and moving like that with our family, because it's like, of course, we can try to build with other people, with other communities, and that's cool, but everybody gotta be on a certain level, right, of meeting each other somewhere. So it's better to start with your family first, because most of us are not even at that meeting place with each other in our families.
Yeah.
I say each one got to start with their own personal community and ingratiate yourself in said community. Therefore, you can understand the concept of community. And that way, when it comes to a point of joining forces with others and cooperating, it wouldn't seem that far-fetched to understand how important community actually is.
Yeah, I mean, if you got your family and, you know what I'm saying, y'all all got houses, y'all all got jobs, you know what I mean, y'all all separated, and that's the goal. Best believe. If you taking care of yourself, your household, that's the goal. You struggling because that ain't normal. Other races are going to move in unity. And so the problem, I'm always like realize, like, I'm like, you can care about black people up until a point where they got to care about themselves, you know? So it's like, it almost seemed like a fairy tale. Unity, black unity, truth to power, things of that nature. Because we can't get to the truth, because people who look exactly like us is going to be like, yeah, ain't y'all the ones that came off the boat? Where y'all from? Ghana? We don't know. Y'all from Congo? We don't know. Y'all from Ethiopia? We don't know. We don't know where we from. Well, let's just call y'all ADOS. Or let's just call y'all black. Like we don't get no origin story. We don't get no specific country in Africa. So we just left with crumbs, and then we seeing everybody come here and unify. It's like, man, that shit I'm telling you, it's the worst shit in the world. It's nothing worse than being an individual on earth when you have the capacity to unify multi-families working together to accomplish one goal. Niggas gotta spend their whole checks on themselves, and you know what I'm saying? That shit's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, how do you get to wealth without proper instruction and direct information?
Well, hood, they
how do
told me
you-
9 to 5 and say more money.
Or how do you get to wealth when those people that look like you are adamant about keeping you away from it?
I remember a lot of like the lecturers, you know what I mean, that we named out on one of the episodes, like C. Freeman L, Ivan Van Sertima, Brother Panic, Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, guys like those. They always said, do not let them pull the wool over your eyes and say, oh, we are the world, you know what I mean? We are part of this world, you know what I mean? Like other people actually got your back. Cause I mean, truth be told, you know, the federal government got a history with every group of people, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it to diminish, you know, anybody's struggle, but you know, this all was planned out. This none of this is by chance. Like they really planned this out, you know. Even to this day, you know what I mean? Like, haven't y'all thought it was interesting that every African person you meet is from Nigeria or Kenya or Ethiopia?
Or Ghana.
There's a lot. You said what?
Or Ghana.
Or Ghana, yeah. It's all
yeah, it's like 1,300 names in Africa. They only got 3 or 4 of them over here. Like
I ain't never met nobody from the Congo, Algeria. You know,
I know the Dogon tribe still exists. I ain't never met nobody from that.
Never met nobody from Zimbabwe. I mean, Elon Musk African. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, yeah, Charlize Theron is South African. she do nothing but adopt African kids and dress them up in African boys rather than dress them up in girls' clothing.
Yeah. Some dark stuff right there, buddy.
I'm just gonna go ahead and sit this here in case you needed to see it, niece. In case you needed to see what was going on down in Bowie. I don't know if y'all know, but Bowie got this little hidden gem that is like a little piece of Africa just sitting right in the mix smack dab of Bowie. Cameroonian queens, the aunties of the DMV. We're called Nadine Hair Braiding, and we are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That means holidays, weekends, nighttime, all things included. No, you do not have to call us and make an appointment. We don't accept appointments. It is walk-in only. That is 24 hours walk-in only. Do not call us and ask us if we're open. We're always open. You don't got to call and ask us if we're taking appointments. We are never taking appointments. Walk in, niece. We are waiting for you. We have over 400 braiders that work up in this shop. They rotate hours, rotate days, and we are the aunties of the DMV. I can never thank y'all enough for the support that y'all continue to show us. No matter what is going on in the world, the nieces are all.
Shit, it was a girl getting her hair braided by 3 different people.
Bro, they putting it down over there, bro. Like, bro.
Damn.
24 hours and you don't need to call for an appointment. They cleaning up over there, bro. They gotta be cleaning up over there.
Imagine, no, pause. Imagine 3 niggas in your head, bro, with the clippers, bro.
That's
crazy, bro.
That's crazy work.
That didn't land the way I thought it was going
to. Pause. I know you said pause. I asked you pause.
Gotta keep pausing it. Gotta keep pausing.
That shit was an indefinite pause, nigga. in the audio, my God.
Oh yeah, it was. I was just playing it in the background. But yeah, it's just interesting how something like that can, you know, catch the internet by storm. The part that's really getting me is the black scent, though. Now that I know that this is happening, I can hear the African undertone in the dialect. You feel me? And it's like, why just speaking your regular voice? Don't be like, cause your clientele is not Cameroonian women. Let's be real. Your clientele is Aboriginal melanated women. And so you're going to market to them in a black scent. That's the shit right there. That's kind of like, oh, okay. these are the games. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm never mad at people making money and stuff like that, but it's just proving my point of figuring out different systems where this is just my hope and dream, right? Being a black person, I can go somewhere if I needed to and go get a job off the strength of me being black. Like a good job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause what is that? That to me look like if you Cameroonian, you can get a good job based upon the customs, which might be hair braiding. What are the things that you're taught as a black man as just particular customs that can then be converted into like work ethic, you know, or just a basic resume? Because when you are in, say, Michigan, you might see a non-black person working in a car, doing shit, you know, in a space where niggas might be filling out applications, trying to look for shit because we just trying to figure it out, you know. But at the same time, my goal for the world that I want to live in is just by your very nature, you have a chance. Because right now, if you're not working hard at a job or don't got no finances coming in, you fucked. And you might normalize that because you thinking like it's like that for everybody. It's not like that for everybody. It's a such thing as being a human being and having to sort out your wits in. So what niggas is, motherfucking niggas is psychotic, bro. They working from sun up to sundown. They working. Their job is they fucking identity. And when you work a job, it's other shit you could do, but you just don't do it. You tired. Go home, go to fucking sleep, man. Tired. Gotta go back to the motherfucking first thing in the morning, man. About to go to fucking sleep.
Wash, rinse, and repeat.
That ain't normal. Guess what that is? And we want to be real. Like,
yeah, that's NPC slavery.
You just choosing your own game to play.
Mm-hmm.
Choosing your own plantation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you okay with it. You're okay with it.
You're not mad about it. And it got you got to start thinking about plantation life for melanated people in the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been bad on some plantations, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't bad on every plantation.
Nah, not when some niggas was leaving plantations and going and copping plots of land like that.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Tell that lie to your mama, nigga. Because I'm not here for that. You know what I'm saying? You still gonna have to explain to me the distinctions between freedmen and slaves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even though I know what the definition is, still there's a huge swath, a gap in there that goes from slave to freedman. You're gonna have to break that down, player. And that tells me, something tells me that is the inception of the boule. Those freedmen, you know what I'm saying? Like it's between the freedmen and the mulattoes, or how do they say, biracial? Yeah. See all of these different distinctions: mulatto,
Creole,
biracial, Creole. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see.
But I'm gonna tell you, I was looking at this shit and I was like, we was talking about it. That was the thought that came to my head, big bro.
Mm-hmm.
In order for this shit to happen the way it's supposed to happen, it gotta be a group of niggas that is in bed with these white motherfuckers, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Period.
It's repeats itself.
Period.
That's what happened in the past.
There's no other way for the boule to exist. How else would the boule exist? Like, there had to be some commingling there.
So it's very it's a very interesting dichotomy that we always find ourselves in, where it's like shit. Oh, I know exactly what I'm about to bring it into. Because another thing that y'all had me thinking about when y'all was talking was the Agent Smith effect. So the Agent Smith effect in the movie Matrix, Agent Smith has the ability to enter anybody at any time, and that often happens when the Matrix is threatened by Neo. This scenario is a reflection of our real world. Most people, I'm gonna skip. Most people have had Agent Smith Matrix programming since birth. These programmed people become the guardians of the Matrix, protectors of the code, the police of mind control, and the enforcers of the indoctrination, which holds together our false concept of reality like superglue. So once again, what's happening, and this is going to make a lot of sense to people because this is what's really happening in real life. The closer you get to the truth, the more people in your family start acting weird as fuck. Okay. So therefore, you having to recalibrate and you either go and just give up because it's that real, or you going to have to fight back in reference to knowing that motherfuckers is really, I would say, possessed at this particular point in time in reference to like how you can get some money, right? You could have $1 million scheme and the person right next to you can help you, but they won't help you.
You got me thinking about the spook who sat by the door. Like while you were talking, like I vividly just thought about the spook that sat by the door. Like those those niggas that look like us, smile like us, talk like us, act like us, but they ain't us. They ain't us, bro. They will go through the struggle with you, or at least appear to. They will argue with you. They will, they will appear like they are on your side until you get to the gate. And you look around and be like, oh shit, I'm by myself. Yep. Like everybody wasn't in those marches for the civil rights movement. Like everybody wasn't down with Martin or Malcolm or Marcus Garvey. Like everybody wasn't down with that shit. And melanated people need to be honest about that, bro.
But that to me is always going to be the solution, because it gets rough when you are, because it could be like this. You know what's right and you know what you have to do. But at the same time, you also know it's going to ruin a situation too. It's like pulling off a band-aid or a scab. And most people, they live their whole lives saying fuck it. I ain't gonna rock the boat. They ain't really do nothing wrong per se. And it's like, bro, let's like once you know, you gotta get back to your spiritual development, the things that work, and you can't really play with it. Because it's going to be a level of trying to convince people, and then the deepest level to all of this shit is convincing yourself finally.
Mm-hmm.
Not
it's
like,
crazy because you're like the last one that gets to get told about it.
Yeah, you the last person that get it. You the last person where it makes sense to like, oh, if I don't do this, I'ma die. if I don't breathe, I'ma die. Like, yeah, that's why it's called spirit breath. Like, yeah, you got to do it all the time. And it's going to tell you things differently on different days. And your protocols got to be tight. And you got to learn from your downs. And you can't rely and trust on people. We going to teach you how to survive at life in the matrix. Because I'm looking at the Chinese people, I'm looking at the Japanese people, I'm looking at the Haitians, I'm looking at the groups of people that are organizing and living it up. I'm looking at my people. You know, it's been like in Jacksonville, kids killing their parents, you know what I'm saying? 14-year-olds. Kid drove from Texas to Florida to kill his grandparents and said that he wanted to be seen by the devil. He wanted to let the devil know that he gonna be one of his strongest minions. This is what's happening out here in these goddamn streets.
Yeah, what? Since I'm looking at Agent Smith here, what are the protocols of Zion?
You can't really expect nothing from nobody because you don't know who an NPC and not an NPC. That's the get down.
You at the point now where you don't know if you're talking to a drone or a fucking alien. Like you
bot.
don't know the difference.
You don't know the difference. Is you sentient life or fucking artificial intelligence?
Yeah, like is you Nephilim or like
fallen angel or
like I don't even like it's the sex, bro. It's the SECTS, right? SECTS. It's the sex. It's the different sex that confuses the world, bro. It's the sex, bro. Like there's just too many of them for people or our people to be able to ingratiate all of this shit and still learn about ourselves at the same time. Like, now we got to get rid of all of that and just focus on us. Like, at the end of the day, like, stop being a nice guy. You know, stop thinking that morals go in hand with what you're supposed to do with other people as opposed to what you're supposed to do with yourself and your own people. Like, we're at that point now where there's no more. It's game over, and if you haven't picked a side, the side was picked for you.
I mean, this shit is like it's rough out here, you know. And I wouldn't never say that, you know, like one of the things I came to the conclusion about, like I was reading The Secret, and I was like, damn, this bitch never said action. All she had to say was action. She never said action, bro. She just was saying all of this shit had to happen with no action. And if you can utilize all of the metaphysical shit you want, but if you're not gonna actually embody it or do it, like we're not getting it right. It's like this world is subjective, but it only corresponds to your actions. It don't correspond to your emotions. Your emotions is just the gas, right? The energy and motion. It's not like it's not the vehicle. Niggas be like, damn, bro, what kind of gas you got in that bitch? Like, they never said that when they seen the Charger. They ain't never say that, bro. You hear that bitch? This nigga has some different type of gas in his whip. Never. Niggas never said it.
Niggas never checked on the petrol.
Nah, niggas never built a statue for a nigga that felt deeply about some shit. This statue of the nigga who was thinking deeply on what he should do on Friday.
As a matter of fact, niggas don't even reference the thinking statue.
Nah, even the thinking statue had to be made by a nigga who actually made it. Make that shit. We gotta be real about this shit. So I'm like shit. It's like, bro, I can see a world of material missing one key component: action.
Mm-hmm.
All of the metaphysical shit from the early 2000s, we was trying to use our brain power like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
We ain't want to do shit for some reason. Now I read that shit and I'm like, bro, I'm not about to waste time with none of you niggas. And if it ain't no action incorporated with it, you could go to hell with your plan.
That shit got me thinking.
How is your plan going to manifest with no action?
Facts.
Am I crazy for saying that?
Nah, you right on. That shit got me thinking about Brother Panic. What's his favorite shit? Whenever you hear niggas talking about an economic plan, whenever you hear niggas talk about saving the children, right? Like, get away from them niggas. This shit ain't got nothing to do with that, bro. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. How you gonna make an economic plan in his system? The fuck? Yeah, that's why I went back to all the Babas and I'm just rewatching all of their shit because you're right. It's almost like back then we just wanted to get all of the information that we could, but then it got to a point where analysis paralysis took over. Like we were over flooded with the information because there was no action to follow said information. Like niggas just thought that they were just supposed to keep accumulating the info, and then that was somehow magically going to transfer into wisdom and knowledge, and that's just not it.
It's not it, bro.
Yeah, action is how you test the information out. Because
you got to substantiate your claim. You got to be able to substantiate something.
Yeah, like you can't. At a certain point, the information that you share with people, your reference has to be your experience.
Facts. That's where we get the gnosis.
Yeah, that's your experience, and then you know what works for you. You get what I'm saying? Because some information for you might not be valuable for the next person, and vice versa.
We can speak hypotheticals till we blow in the face, like
right. And also, I think like with things that spirit tell us, it's not always something for the collective. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes, nigga, that shit is for you.
Facts.
You're supposed to do what you told. You're not supposed to.
Nobody else got that download. Nobody else got that download but you. Each and every download that niggas get is specified particularly for said person. Like there is no if we all get the same download, bro. That's a spirit. That's something different. Like that's different.
Yeah.
We all have
like every time.
Like you don't get the same instruction to two of your warriors, right? Like you split them up so they can cover more ground.
Yep. You don't tell everybody they're gonna be on the front line. You know,
we got warriors come loud over here.
Yeah, like we got the whole plan laid out for everybody to look at. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could just be the spook who sat by the door and just take that shit and take a shot and then send it to somebody else. Like now we got a mole. Like, come on, bro.
I think just from this whole conversation, I think one of the things that that our spiritual development can solve the problems is not loving the world so much. Like I think it is so much love for the world.
Not identifying with your fucking humanity.
Yeah.
That's the trap, bro. That's the fucking trap, bro.
You can have compassion for it, but you're not here to embody it and identify it as it.
Yeah, compassion and empathy, but not sympathy and niceties. Like, nah.
Yeah. Because it's really go time. It's really not time buying Benzes and getting your hair braided by Africans, and but I don't know, somewhere.
This is not get fresh time.
Yeah, like it's really crunch time, bro. It's like this is overtime too.
This is getting the gym. This is getting the gym with your hood on, nigga, and just your headphones and zone out on every fucking body in there, nigga. Like nobody in there exists. This is my shit.
Man, nobody even pay attention to you at the gym.
And when somebody walk up to you, ask you what you doing, shit, I don't know, whatever spirit tell me. You go back to what you doing.
I think I'll leave it alone too.
I noticed that because I'm a loner and I'm an empath. Like I noticed that when I get on that shit, that's when people bother me more. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get on that shit, niggas stop me and everybody, nah, like you don't understand. Like I just don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to tell you that I don't care, but if you keep bothering me, I'm gonna show you I just don't care.
That was an African American thing. Now it's an African thing.
African American. Grow up.
They need to stop that.
I'm getting comfortable, but you saw they was doing on TikTok. They was gonna what is it?
Boycott,
African hair salon.
No, did you see? Because they said that the Essence Festival was all African, but if Philly realized the Essence Festival owned by Liberian.
Really?
Oh yes, Richelieu is a Liberian.
Okay.
Yes, he's the one that owned Shea Butter. He was the one that showed Shea Moisture.
Okay.
Yeah, Richelieu used to sell that stuff for his
And
grandma
that'd be my problem with
at the stuff. So I don't know what make it so African now. You know, because they were late. That's what they're trying to say. They had less people
where
show
the
up.
fuck is Liberia?
African
I'm
people have
lost.
taken over, so they got.
I was just saying, where the fuck is Liberia?
Oh, I was saying Liberia is an African colony.
That's what I. All right, yeah, I knew I graduated at least 7th grade. Thank you for that one.
It is where Americans got sent to a specific place in Western Africa called Liberia due to knowledge. Okay? So a Liberian is an American, an indigenous or aboriginal American. And I'll go further to say all African countries are a product of colonialism and not a product of tribal Africanism. No African came together and said, we're going to call this country blank and we're going to run it autonomously.
No, because it was a conquered land.
Exactly.
And Cyprio Africanus conquered said land, right? So hence the name Africa, right? So if it was a conquered land, then that would make sense that reverse slavery seems more plausible to me than anything. Am I bugging by saying that?
I mean, the knowledge on the reverse underground railroad is stunning to me. Like niggas is not gonna talk about this. We need a movie for this. The pre-American Civil War practice of kidnapping into slavery in the United States occurred in both free enslaved states, and both fugitive slaves and free Negroes were transported to slave markets and sold. They're not taking people from Africa. I mean, we're reading this shit in black and white, okay? Gotta have some goddamn common sense. If they getting all of these fucking Africans, why do they need to do this in America? No, this is all they ever did in America. Take niggas from the North and bring them to the South. That's why when niggas ever got a chance to get away from there, they went straight to Chicago. They went straight to Los Angeles. They went straight to Denver. They went straight to Cleveland. They went straight to Boston. They went straight to Philly. Because that's where it was already at. They went straight to Cincinnati. But niggas
my folks left Alabama and went to Harlem, my nigga.
But they probably was Lenapes in Harlem first.
Yeah. No. We were. I had roots up in Harlem. I had roots up in Maine and Rhode Island, and I also had roots from the Seminoles in Florida and Alabama.
This shit get deep, bruh.
Free African Americans were most frequently kidnapped from border states, including Delaware, Maryland, Kentucky, Missouri, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, as well as abolition-minded regions in southern states such as Tennessee. Free blacks in New York City and Philadelphia were particularly vulnerable to kid. This is a whole fucking system, and these niggas is not gonna talk about this. They're gonna talk about shipping your ass from Africa for 2 to 3 months on the Atlantic Ocean and chaining you up to bottom of ships on top of food. So you pissing and shitting on top of the food, no big fucking deal. We're gonna mix it in with the grain. Like, come on, bro. The math don't never math. So when Pan-Africanists want to just lump us all in, explain the reverse Underground Railroad. Explain it to me.
Yeah, like, I mean, they made
Break it down.
Antebellum, they made it out of straight entertainment, but they literally told you the truth in the movie Antebellum. If you watch Antebellum, you'll see everything that he just said is what they did in the movie, but they purported it as entertainment. Why would they do such a thing like that?
"12 Years a Slave." He was in America playing a motherfucking violin, got knocked out, and all of a sudden he was a slave down
He
south.
was chained up. He was in New York.
He was in New York.
I remember when I seen that movie, I'm like, oh, that's some bullshit. But they was making it seem like if you was in Virginia and up, nigga, you was good.
Yeah, they made it seem like the closer north you got, you was a freedman, right? The closer to the south you got, you was owned by something or someone type.
Man, they was picking niggas. He wasn't safe in this bitch, man.
Yo,
yeah.
not to even cut y'all, bro, but think about it. One of my favorite shows, The Boondocks. What was the family's name? Freeman.
Freedmen's, yeah.
So
That was predictive programming at its best.
So I would just say, man, do the knowledge. Make sense of the reverse Underground Railroad. Try to figure out that try to say they not even accounting for none of this in their slave narratives. Okay? So I just niggas like we need to come to a conclusion. We was already here. We got to come to that conclusion.
You gotta be comfortable with saying that to people without having to think about it twice.
Yeah, you just got to come to the table. Man, they was already here. They was already here, man. They figured it out, man.
Mm-hmm.
The gig is up.
The gig is up, bro. Like I hope if this video reaches you, it finds you in a good space, because this doesn't get any more authentic, right? Like we see the signs of the times, but the signs of the times is not a sign for you to do whatever it is that people are telling you to do. Like that direction has to come from an investigation and inward work. And that's all we're asking you to do. Just go inside and investigate on what it is that you think you know and you don't know. And if you're talking about tangible evidence, if you're talking about the socially accepted narrative, like those are things that are just meant to confuse you in the first place. And if you keep buying into it, then yeah, that's what it's going to do. But if you just do just a little bit of investigating, you have to tell me, you have to be honest and say, you know, where there's smoke, there has to be fire. There just has to be. This was a worldwide system.
You can ignore it. You can ignore it and whatever. But I mean, when that shit come knocking on your door, don't say you wasn't warned. You know what I mean? Like it ain't even doom and gloom. It is just the facts of unifying with people that's on your same frequency. Like even to the point of you feel like it's bad for you to have conversation with other black men on a consistent basis. I'm just talking about any person in general. You don't take time out of your life to have conversations with people outside of your social circle.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You think that is normal. So I think the most revolutionary act is having conversations and
With people that you would never have a conversation with any other way.
Exactly. Because you can learn something. It's easier learning from another person than it is to learn it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
That's why schools exist. If
Mhm.
everybody could teach themselves, we wouldn't need thousands of institutions in this country.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And if I could just look at my brother do it and figure out how he's doing it, why wouldn't I do that?
So if we can't be an example of just black men having a conversation, not for nothing though, because it's healthy. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
What's not healthy? You ain't talked to nobody in years. That's unhealthy.
That's super unhealthy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Super unhealthy.
You in the whole what is that echo chamber?
Mm-hmm. Echo chamber every fucking day. Your thoughts are just bouncing off the walls right back to you.
I know.
Listen, I spent 6 months in the hole, nigga. It is different with that. Okay, so let me tell you something. When you ain't got an attitude, and when you don't possess an avenue to facilitate those inners and outers, like those downloads become a little bit more frequent, a little bit more scary. You know what I'm saying? And then it's gonna be hard for you to understand what the fuck is reality and what ain't. So, yeah, talk to people, bro.
Shout out to the tribe. They have pointed out niggas like Fuji Raw and niggas like Toby and Gwigwe come here, act like, you know what I'm saying, just cosplay as melanated Americans. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. But you see how we get down and you do your best to emulate our whole entire swag. I don't see no Africa in this nigga.
Nothing. If it wasn't for the nigga looking like a roach, I would not know he was.
Oh my god.
Oh, yo.
Listen, man. Listen, we passed that point, man. Call a spade, man. Nigga like a roach, bro. Like, come on, bro. I understand his melanin is popping, but you lying right now, bro. You copy.
Hey, sir, you say you look like a top cheese.
You
You got the NFL jerseys and things of that nature. Like
He had a Miami Dolphins jersey and a Colts jersey, then a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey.
I mean, got the do
got
rag.
the Seattle Sonics, got the Measles on.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Hey man, stay
what
woke.
we doing here? Stay woke, man.
Stay woke.
Stay woke.
Y'all got some closing shots before you get up out of here.
Of course, flameonshop.com, moondaymystic.com, clubbingexchange.com. Of course,
Saturdays the powwow.
Yes, Saturday Power Market Power. Patreon members locked in.
Join the Spiritual Business Academy.
Of course, and be ready for another Thursday drop. We got some heat for you on the Patreon. Much love to y'all.
Yes, sir.
Of course, thank you to the panel.
Join the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord.
Discord. You know what's crazy with this conversation? I'm going to Tulsa, Oklahoma Friday.
I know. We spoke that into existence. I know.
Yeah.
I know. You sent that shit through the chat. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yep, going to Bill Pickett Rodeo, who was he was you look him up on Wikipedia, he's an African American cowboy who in like the 5th grade, he was just like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm about to work, you know, and learn about horses and all of that, you know. And I didn't even know it was a rodeo hall of fame. So he's
Hell
in
yeah.
like the Rodeo Hall of Fame
Hell
and
yeah.
some other Hall of Fame and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. I'm gonna probably take me some mushrooms out there and take a walk, you know.
Get some pictures, bro.
Take a walk for sure.
Tap in.
Grab some dirt, just put it in my pocket, keep walking.
Facts. Bring that shit back home with you. Let it marinate.
Yeah.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective, man. See
Peace.
y'all in the Discord.
Yes, sir. We should see y'all tomorrow, if not Friday.
We got videos coming down the pike. Don't you worry.